I am sick of Rick and Morty. There are so many moments that I am just repulsed by. From hypersexual dragons to a giant floating incest baby. I dislike so many of the plot points and the overly crude humor. So every now and then, I have to ask, why do I still watch this show? Suddenly, seemingly out of nowhere, something magical happens. A random episode's emotional payoff stirs something within me, bringing me to tears. How can a show that has such ridiculously crude and dark plotlines contain some of the most heartwarming moments on TV? What hidden agenda does Rick and Morty push to its audience? And why does it affect me so deeply? Suddenly, with the latest season, everything clicked. Rick and Morty is pushing an agenda that focuses on diversity. For those unaware, diversity is the D in that big scary phrase, DEI, and it can be defined as such: the practice or quality of including or involving people from a range of different social and ethnic backgrounds, and of different genders, sexual orientations, etc. Now, if you think about the idea of diversity within the context of Rick and Morty, you might get confused. You might be focusing on the elephant in the room, the fact that the show features a predominantly white cast, with the two main characters white males. With the recurring characters, you rarely see diversity in the traditional sense. Sure, the show features many human characters of differing sexualities and of color, like the Asian character Dr. Helen Wong, voiced by the very lovely and very white Susan Sarandon. But when Rick and Morty focuses on diversity, it's in relation to the human experience. At its core, Rick and Morty is an incredibly human show, which is strange to say, considering the vast majority of the characters are not human. They're aliens, floating clouds of sparkle and dust, and even bird people, which I suppose they're not human, not even like 1% human, right? I don't think so. The point is, Rick and Morty showcases a diverse range of the human experience with its cast of alien and human characters. For every emotionally impactful moment in the show, from a random experience inside of a hole to reliving entirely false but moving memories, we get to see and relate to a human life, even if it's coming from an alien. Some may argue it could be seen as lazy writing to make an alien deeply human. But the beauty of representing so many human stories, even through an alien character, allows for a deeper understanding of yourself and of humanity as a whole. It's what speaks to us on a fundamental level. For example, one of my favorite scenes comes from episode 4 of season 7, That's Amorte, where we learn the universe's most delicious spaghetti is harvested from a planet where the dead bodies of those who took their own lives turns into spaghetti. Yeah, I know, it's very dark. But Rick and Morty doesn't play into it. In fact, the show rejects the gluttonous consumption of the suicidal spaghetti by giving you a montage of the life of Fred Bunks, who only had 2 months left to live. This short glimpse into this random character's life is moving. We see him, in the span of a few minutes, go through life, love, heartbreak, failure, success, and a very human experience. Despite the fact that he is not human, and this planet is not our Earth. The universe subsequently rejects the spaghetti. As Rick explains, no one can stomach eating a formerly living being while knowing the life they lived in all its complexities. This is just one of the many human experiences we see throughout the show that shapes the way we view each other. Each of us, despite sharing similarities like growing up in the same household, or culture, or even planet or universe, are all diverse in the way we see and experience our world. Even with the introduction of the multiverse, the infinite number of Ricks and Mortys, and just a round of playing Roy. There are infinite numbers of experiences that are all uniquely personal and uniquely human. This is why Rick and Morty has succeeded, reaching an ever-growing number of seasons. It highlights and includes the numerous ways our lives can go, and makes even the most marginalized or alienated person feel represented on screen. This is what DEI promotes: a sense of representation and inclusion from a wide breadth of the human experience. And by allowing these diverse experiences to reach numerous facets of our life and our humanity, they serve to enrich our lives. We are all uniquely human, and experiences are universal to so many of us, even though, at times, it might feel like we aren't human. Sometimes we don't connect with others, and we can feel like our uniqueness should not be a part of this planet. I too have felt that. I felt like an alien. So how could I appreciate diversity, especially when I don't feel important? Well, from a dysfunctional family, sibling rivalries, relationship issues, and even feeling out of place in the universe, Rick and Morty uses the concept of diversity to push its core philosophy and agenda that every person's life is important, no matter where they're from or how they got here. But it highlights this with a nihilistic approach, which is refreshingly human. Nihilism, commonly defined as the rejection of all religious and moral principles and the belief that life is meaningless, feels antithetical to the message I've been discussing. After all, one of the core tenets of the show is that
nobody exists on purpose, nobody belongs anywhere, everybody's gonna die. Come watch TV.
But in fact, nihilism can be viewed as one of the core tenets of diversity. If we subscribe to the idea that life is meaningless, that each of us does not hold any inherent purpose, then none of us hold any more importance than any other, and we are truly equal. This is how life and death is handled by the show. It truly does not matter who lives and who dies, because everyone is treated equitably. There are no persons that should be placed on a pedestal. No gods, no kings, only man. No channel in interdimensional cable is more important than any other. Just how no show is more important than Rick and Morty, because Rick and Morty does not hold more importance than any other. It is only the ones that make you laugh, the ones that make you cry, the ones that make you resonate and feel represented, that holds all the meaning and importance to you. No one individual should have to prove their humanity in order to receive fair and humane treatment, because there are infinite numbers of stories and human experiences, that there is only ever one of you, no matter how many multiverses there are. And that feeling of representation, inclusion, and diversity transcends all of space and time. At bottom, every man knows well enough that he is a unique being, only once on this earth, and by no extraordinary chance will such a marvelously picturesque piece of diversity in unity as he is ever be put together a second time. That is why, no matter how many moments don't resonate with me, I will always come back to Rick and Morty and remind myself that I too am human, belonging to an ever-growing and increasingly diverse universe.